Sorry, guys. The camera, it looked like it was going, but it cut out after 19 minutes and 26 seconds. I have no idea why. So, suffice it to say that I finished putting the fabric on the other one, so I'm going to show you how I ended up finishing on this other one here. Once you've got both sides down, it's got to reach there. Anyway, you have both sides glued down, the front and the back. And then what I do is I cut, oops, red scissors. I want about a half an inch on each side of fabric. About a half inch of fabric for the fold over. Okay. Doesn't have to be exact, doesn't even have to be perfectly straight or anything because it's not going to be seen. And we're going to put papers on the inside so that edges won't be seen anyway. All this will be covered with paper, decorative paper. And I'm sorry I'm having to redo this. It just cut out, and I didn't realize it had stopped. And I don't know why it did. I didn't turn it off. So maybe it just doesn't go for very long. I'm not real sure. Anyway, what we're going to do now, this one's a little different. It's got a big thick thing here in the middle that does not come out. That's okay. I'll work around that when I get to it. I will actually be finishing up the other one, showing you how I'm doing it. But this way I can show you how to do the edges of the fabric. Okay. I'm going to glue about an inch up. And let me put this where you can see it. I'm going to put glue on the fabric itself down here because we're going to be folding it over. So it's going to need that. So we're going to do fabric, or excuse me, the Mod Podge or your glue, whatever you're using, all the way across one long side. Okay. Or horizontal side, I guess I should say. Again, you want to make sure that you get your fabric down well in these little ditches on here around the spine. Make sure you get everything pressed down well. Make sure it's down real well. Let me put this where I know you can see it. Okay. Now when it comes to the corner, what I do is I press it down really well, and then I use my fingernail and push down so that it comes down onto the fabric itself. Adheres to the thickness of the board and then down onto the fabric. And what that does is it gives it just a slight angle so that when I fold it this way, it doesn't stick out. Okay. We're not folding it that way just yet. And I do the same thing on the other side. Just press it down against the edge of that book board, cover board, whatever you want to call it. I tend to call them book boards. Okay. And we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. This is a much larger book. I have had an idea in my head for a couple of weeks for this one. So I thought, well, I'll go ahead and get it sorted out. And that way I can also kind of finish up what I was trying to tell you in part one. I'm sorry that cut off. I'm going to have to watch what it's doing here. It says it's recording. Okay. I will be much happier when I get a larger SD card for my camera, because then I can use the camera with my tripod to do the videos. But the larger SD card is a little out of my budget for a while. It's been a very, very slow summer as far as sales go on eBay, Poshmark, Etsy. It's been tough. Summer usually is, but this year was just really tough for me. I went into it with more money needing to go out than what I really had available. So everything got pushed back as far as when it got paid. Everything did get paid, and I didn't incur any late fees or anything on anything. No problems, but it was still kind of tough. I don't always make a whole lot of money anyway. I'm not sure what the secret to making a living off of eBay and Poshmark and Etsy is, but I have not discovered it yet. Okay, once you have the long sides done, then you want to do your short sides. Same process. And make sure you put enough glue on that fabric piece down there. And always start in the middle. Learned that when I was picture framing for a living and stretching canvases and needlework pieces and so forth. I learned a lot of skills in those years that have served me well, but also gave me carpal tunnel. Same repetitive motion in my wrist. Unfortunately, it's the same grabbing motion that I used on the mat cutter that I use to hold the mouse. You know, when you hold a mouse like this grabbing motion is the way you hold a mouse is the exact same, although the shape is slightly different, but the motion is exactly the same as, well, not motion, but the way you grab it is exactly the same as for a mat cutter, glass cutter, and all of that. So yeah, I don't really have arthritis at this point that I know of. But I do have damage to joints from being injured, and I have the carpal tunnel. It's not really, really bad. Certainly not to the point where I would need surgery or anything. And after seeing what Mom's surgery did to her, I'm not sure I'd want it anyway. When my hands had enough, I'd just give it a rest. Not always the most convenient thing, but you do what you got to do. Same thing with my sciatica. It's like I know when I've reached my limit and I need to take a rest. So you want to make sure these corner pieces where that fabric folds over are down really, really good. Really push them down hard as that glue dries. And then what I do is I take a little bit more, and you can wait till it dries and do this again if you would like. I have done that. I go over that corner, including the edge of it, that where that fold is, and I put a little more Mod Podge on it to help seal it. Okay, so I just do both sides like that. That just helps hold it down, keeps it from coming loose, and I don't have problems with it. There. So that's the finished part of part 1. I'm not sure what I'll call this video. It does say I'm still going. So I'm going to stop it here as far as working on this and pick it up with a new video showing me how I cut and put down the paper for the inside. And we'll go back to the original book I was working on. So there is that. Actually, I was working on one before the one that you saw with the spider webs on it. I have one with sugar skulls on it. Let me show you that. It really turned out cute. I've got this one. This is the one I was working on and thought it was filming with the sugar skulls. And again, got all the way through this point and brought it up, and lo and behold, it had not filmed but about 30 seconds. I think I clicked a wrong button on that one. I'm still learning some of the stuff this Chromebook does. Chromebook is definitely not my favorite thing in the world, but it has taught me this much. I don't need to save all the odd, weird things that I would save on my computer. And I don't get viruses. It does just, it's an app. It's basic. A Chromebook is basically an oversized smartphone for the most part, except, well, unless you're doing Skype. It doesn't do phone calls. It doesn't do text messages. There may be apps for that. I don't know. But I've never had a smartphone. I have a little flip phone, track phone that's prepaid because I don't like talking on the phone much. It's just not something I enjoy, and I just don't. So anyway, there we are with this. Let me give you, while it's still going, let me give you a little bit of a life update, because you're probably wondering why I disappeared. And excuse the messy hair. It's the end of the day. It's like midnight or something. And excuse the messy room. I am in the middle of sorting through things and going to be packing stuff up and putting some stuff away and packing some stuff and moving with it. A year ago, I went to Colorado, and when I came back a week later, I brought with me the person that I love, and he was here for a little over a year. He was not happy here. Of course, it's not real conducive to a relationship living in a 10 by 12 room. This is the room. That's his bed laying up against the wall in the corner. I sleep in a chair. He had a twin size bed. So he was going to go back up to Colorado to visit his children and stay with his daughter, one of his daughters. And right before he was getting ready to leave, that she called and said, "You've got a mail from the housing authority." So he had her open it, and after 4 years, he was finally approved, got to the top of the list, basically, for housing, an apartment. And his income's never been real great for various and sundry reasons, and he is 65 at this point. And so he got an apartment It's a small 1 bedroom, but it's bigger than this room, and uh, it's affordable. And so he's staying, and I have shipped him a various and sundry things that he needed, and he's gone out and picked up a few things here and there. A lot of people, when they're getting rid of stuff, they just offer it up for free. Garage sales over, whatever you want that's left over, take that you need. So he's got a bed, he's got some tables, he's got some lamps. I found I can't move. I'm going with only my car and what can fit in it. I cannot fit my sleeping chair in it. So I found one online up there, and he actually gave them a few extra bucks, and they delivered it. So I have a chair to sleep in. Um, he's got his bed set up in the living room, and he's going to give me the bedroom. Um, and it'll be nice to have my own kitchen again. I don't have one here. We have a sink out in the garage with a refrigerator next to it, and I have a toaster oven and a microwave, and that's pretty much it. So, anyway, um, within the next few weeks, I should be moving to Colorado with whatever I can pack in my car that doesn't overload it weight wise. And that'll be different. I was born and raised in Michigan, so I grew up with snow, but not what they get there. And I've already started drinking electrolyte stuff in my water so that I don't have trouble breathing, because the higher elevations you have trouble breathing. And when I was there last year, it was an issue. I've lived at nearly sea level for way too many years. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this one and give you updates on things as life progresses. I'm just in the middle of everything. The room is a horrendous mess, trying to dig out what I need, what I'm going to get rid of, you know, what I need to just pack away until next year. We're planning to probably come back in the spring. If I can find a job and put together enough money, we'll come back in the spring or the summer and rent a truck and move everything. I mean, I don't have that much, so a small truck works. Um, but that's kind of sort of the plan. He's excited. He's like, I got this on the wall for you, and I put that shelf there, and you've got, I got you some lamps, and he's just having a good time. Um, anyway, I'm kind of sad to be leaving my parents, but it kind of has to be the way it is. And I'm fixing to be 61, and I've waited a long time. I've been alone most of my life, so uh, this is a good thing, and I'm excited. And I will be back with another video to show you the next step on a journal. Talk to y'all later. Have a great night. Bye.